One tells the truth, the other's lying, and they're both calling my name. Load up on guns and bring your friends. It's fun to lose and to pretend she's overboard and self-assured. Oh no, I know a dirty word. Hello.
Prosecutor said Ethan Nordine was the undisputed leader of the group that day as they tried to prevent the peaceful transfer of power.
And FBI agents arrested Proud Boys former national chairman Enrique Tarrio at this home in Miami. By 2 this afternoon, he was in federal court.
Here we are now, entertainers. I feel stupid and contagious. Here we are now, entertainers. I feel stupid and contagious. Here we are now, entertainers.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Do you hear me? Okay, so we're good. Check. Oh. What? Can we turn it up? Oh, but can you amplify it? What?
Yeah, no, they didn't have it here. Yeah,
So there's no volume. All right, got it. All right. All right, everybody. How we doing? Good. All right. So my name is Mike Crispy, and it's my great honor to be moderating this incredible discussion today, the Weaponization Watch Panel, hosted by the great Cynthia Hughes. Round of applause for Cynthia. This all started after that fateful day, January 6th, when we saw the true horrors of what our own government is capable of. People tell you this is the freest and most fair system in the world, but unfortunately, we've seen over the last couple of years true evil rear its ugly head. And in the face of true evil, who's fighting that? Who's standing up to it? Who's punching back? Who's making a difference? It's not a lot of people, unfortunately. So many people during these last couple of years ran for cover. They hid and they did not step up when we needed them the most. It is so egregiously apparent when we look at politicians, representatives, leaders. They say they fight for us. And when we need them the most, they were nowhere to be found because they didn't want to touch a topic like January 6th. It's very tragic and it's terrible. But thank God that Patriot Freedom Project was around. And thank God that so many people in this room worked together to work with the president, work with people in the administration, and ultimately successfully get our January 6th prisoners free. Let's have a round of applause for everybody who helped do that. But of course, as we see it now, the fight continues. This weaponized standard that they've created is only increasing. Now that they've opened up the Pandora's box and we see what they're capable of, they're not going to stop. We see what the left wing is capable of. We see what, even in some cases, bad Republicans are capable of. And we need to check on that. We need to have a balance on that. And we need to fight the weaponization of government so we can truly all ourselves be afforded the liberties that are instilled on us under the Constitution, to have a fair process, to have true freedom, to have a true justice system, and not have it be weaponized like we see in third world countries in cruel and unusual ways. We know that certain people in our government want to turn this country into a, look-alike of these foreign oligarchs and third world hellscapes. But we're not going to let that happen. And groups like ours, groups like what Cynthia is leading, are absolute forefront of the defense of that, to making sure that we keep our country intact. And without a justice system that is fair and honest and right, we don't have a country. So that's why it's so important that we support the great work of so many people in this room. So now, without further ado, I want to welcome up Cynthia Hughes.
Hello, everybody. Normally, I have my notes. This time I have them in my phone. And I'm just going to read what I wrote because I always get just messed up and I go off topic, and Marcus won't let me do that this time. So hello, everyone, and welcome to the first Weaponization Watch discussion panel. And I thank you for joining us today for this important conversation. So I have a question for all of you. And that question is, what brings us here together? And my answer is frustration, fatigue, and unrelenting fight for freedom. For me, the fight began with a phone call that I will never forget. The call telling me that my nephew had been arrested for attending a protest at the People's House on January 6th. He was 100% peaceful, and he committed no violence that day. He assaulted no one that day. And yet he was denied due process, denied bond 3 times, and held in solitary confinement for more than 1 year of his life. That's a fact. Tim had no criminal history. He proudly served his country for 12 years in the United States Army. And before a single charge was adjudicated, he was stripped of his career, his freedom, and his dignity. How could our government do that to an American citizen? I wish I could tell you that Tim's story is rare, but in the last 5 years, I've learned a devastating truth, and it's not rare. What I've witnessed is the full force of a weaponized government, a system that now too often punishes citizens instead of protecting them, a system where prosecutors chase headlines instead of justice, and where judges abandon the objectivity for ideology. Right here in the Eastern District of New York, we have watched case after case that should have never been brought. Biased judges, overzealous prosecutors, and a district attorney who has made it her life mission to not serve the people of New York, but to target President Trump, and in doing so, persecute anyone who dares to oppose her agenda. Right now, there's 2 women sitting in a prison here in Brooklyn. Not because of clear evidence, not because of any violent crime, but because a judge appears offended by their beliefs. Nicole Daydoni and Rachel Cherwitz are being swallowed by a system that, in their case, no longer reflects the rule of law or the presumption of innocence it is supposed to protect. Their continued incarceration sends a chilling message to every American that punishment can be driven by ideology rather than justice. What is happening to these women is not just a personal tragedy. It is a warning sign of a system drifting dangerously far from its constitutional foundations. My dear friend Doug Mackey was prosecuted for sharing a meme. A decorated NYPD officer here with us today saw his life and his family destroyed over lies. A young man also here with us today was targeted for investing in cryptocurrency, a market the Biden administration openly opposed. But what do all of these cases have in common? Conspiracy. Conspiracy has become the government's weapon of choice when they lack real evidence. It is vague and it is dangerous, and it has the power to completely destroy a person's life. Just ask my friend Enrique, who you'll hear from today. He was sentenced to more than 20 years in prison over January 6th. And here's the part that many people don't really know to this day and should shock every American. Enrique wasn't even at the Capitol on January 6th. Not there, yet convicted on words, assumptions, and ideology, and sentenced to 22 years by a prosecutor and a judge who abandoned justice. That is not American. When January 6th happened, I founded the Patriot Freedom Project. Families had nowhere to turn, and we raised money to hire attorneys. We helped secure real legal defense for hundreds of January 6th defendants when the entire system had turned against them. Didn't we, Nick? But we cannot stop there. The mission now continues through Weaponization Watch. Because today, and any American who speaks up, thinks, pushes back, questions authority, or refuses to comply with an ideology that goes against the grain, demands, I don't know what I wrote here, can find themselves in a courtroom or worse, in a prison cell. Just ask my friend Terry, who was here today with us. Her son Scott sits in a prison in Colorado because a judge refused to allow discovery that would almost certainly exonerate her son. This is why Weaponization Watch exists. It exists to expose these cases, to amplify these victims, to fight for clemency, justice, and reform, and to make sure no American ever feels alone in the system again. With the support of patriots like you and people beyond this room, your donations and your voices and your willingness to stand up, we can help victims like Nicole and Rachel. We can help Scott, and we can help the countless others whose names you will hear today. So I urge you please to stand with us, support this mission, fight alongside of us, because justice in America should never be political and freedom should never, ever be an option. Thank you. So, okay, thank you. So I always go off script, and we're on a strict timeline today, and I will get in a lot of trouble if I don't stick to that. So, and I'll be more to talk more to you, and of course you could talk to me afterwards, and you can reach me through social media. I'm happy to give my phone number, my email. It's very important that we get people to really support this mission and share what we're doing. Today, I had the opportunity to go on to Steve Bannon's show, and we have already gotten some really good feedback on that. And weaponization of government is a very serious thing that a lot of people don't realize in this country. And it's very, very important that we combat it and we fight it. President Trump is the only person that is standing between us and serious tyranny. And a lot of people, and they don't realize that either. We have two systems of justice essentially in this country. And, when our panel gets started, you're going to hear a lot more about that and hear from these brave lawyers that go to the front lines and they fight and they defend, people when it's not the popular thing to do. There's a lot of thank yous to give out, and I'm going to do that at the end of our show. And I would just like to say I really appreciate everybody coming together today and coming out to hear what we have to say. It's so important, and I really urge you when you leave here today that you take what you learned here and you tell your family, your friends, your coworkers. You go to church, you tell them at church, and you tell the person at the bus stop. Because Weaponization Watch is very, very needed. There's nothing in this country at all that is helping people that are languishing behind bars. I can't stress it enough. There are 2 women that are sitting in a Brooklyn jail right now for a conspiracy charge. Conspiracy is so dangerous, and you're going to hear from Tom Caniff, our attorney, Nick Smith, our attorney, the great John Laura, who is President Trump's attorney. They're going to tell you just how dangerous conspiracy is. And when a prosecutor or an investigating team doesn't have clear evidence, that's what they use. And it obliterates people, and it's a shame. And you have these women that are facing a long time in prison. We can't have that. We can't have that. You have a young man in this room right now who's not even 30 years old, and he's facing a long time in prison because people don't like serious, they don't like certain markets, certain things. And well, let me just not go off the rails here. But we're going to get started with our panel. But before we do, I would like to invite up my partners, if you will, who have teamed up with me and are working with me and helping me to kick off Weaponization Watch. One has been his own victim of weaponization. He has been a target, and he's going to share his story. And the other is the son of a very, very powerful woman, a pioneer, Phyllis Schlafly. If you don't know who she is, you should certainly look her up and you learn about her. She set us all on this course. She is the reason that we have Moms for America and Moms for Liberty and all of these conservative organizations. So with that, I'd like to invite up John Schlafly and Doug Mackey.
As Cynthia said, Mother Phyllis Schlafly was instrumental in national politics, and she was very instrumental in helping President Trump get the Republican nomination in 2016. And when she passed later that year, candidate Trump brought his entire team, including Steve Bannon, Kellyanne Conway, and his wife Melania, aboard Trump Force One to St. Louis to honor my mother at her funeral. Her successor in our organization was Ed Martin. Maybe you've heard of Ed. Ed messaged me this morning with a new project he's working on that he said this is a close hold, though, so I'm not allowed to tell you about it. But there's more in the works. He keeps telling me, just be patient. And although Ed is in the Justice Department, as you know, and he's struggling with the bureaucracy there, but he's trying every day to push back against weaponization and to get the pardons that need to be done out. So I'm so happy to partner with Cynthia. Ed met Cynthia 3 years ago and formed an alliance between our two organizations, and that has continued this year since now that Ed is in the Justice Department. And the Phyllis Schlafly Eagles Organization and Patriot Freedom Project sponsoring this event. And by the way, it's great to be at this wonderful location where they still honor a great president, Theodore Roosevelt, with a statue. Especially since the big statue of the big Roosevelt sculpture was removed from the front of the Museum of Natural History on the Upper West Side. What an outrage that was. But at least there's a pocket here in New York for Roosevelt republicanism. I'm so happy to be here for this time. Cynthia?
John has become a great mentor and teacher, and I'm very grateful for you, John. Thank you. Doug?
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, John. It's an honor to be here with Patriot Freedom and, of course, John Schlafly of the Schlafly Eagles. These two have been incredible warriors for justice and also the conservative movement. So my name's Doug. 2 days after Joe Biden was inaugurated, I was arrested and charged after sending a meme telling Hillary Clinton supporters that they could text their vote. I'll talk about it later today, but ultimately we fought them all the way. We never entertained the idea of a plea deal. I was convicted. We never entertained the idea of even a pardon. We fought the case in the court and won this past July. So that was a privilege. So during the 2016 election, I was sitting here in Manhattan, not too far from here, just a few blocks away, posted a meme that I thought was funny, and then I moved to Florida. I was living my life. I was brought back here to the EDNY to fight the case, so it's very fitting that we are here in New York today. There's a big problem with these two offices in New York, the EDNY and the SDNY, and there are a number of victims of lawfare and weaponization in both of these courts. A number of EDNY defendants were like a fraternity now with each other all the time. What people don't understand, President Trump's been in office for almost 1 year. There are a number of weaponized cases still going through the system, people in prison, people fighting on appeal, people fighting for pardons, people who have served their sentences, people who have not served their sentences. So let's think about these cases as we're here today. And I also want to have us think about, yes, it's important that we think about long-term structural reform of the justice system, but in the immediate future here, short term, we need to think about real tactics and strategies. And to that end, Cynthia had the brilliant idea of creating the Weaponization Watch. It's a privilege to be a part of this project. So we're going to try to be allies for people who are fighting lawfare and weaponization, and allies to the administration as well, because as we know, just because a few appointees go into the DOJ doesn't mean you get everything that you want immediately. There are tens of thousands of DOJ employees and only a few dozen appointees. So with that being said, thank you very much, Cynthia and John, and let's start the panel.
While we're waiting for the panel to get set up here, I just want to give out another quick acknowledgement of another example of weaponization, and that is Dr. Ron Elfenbein. I butcher the names all the time, Ron. And you're going to hear from Dr. Ron a little bit later today. Weaponization of government runs very, very deep. And it runs deep on all forms. And I really take videos, listen carefully, because you're going to learn really quickly just how deep it runs. Thank you.
If you guys can kind of move this mic around. Oh yeah, we've got these as well.
Everybody, all good, all set? Mic jump. All right, just want to welcome everybody one more time, and obviously Cynthia Hughes doing amazing work, and just one more round of applause for Cynthia. Cynthia doesn't like when I hype her up like that, so that's why we do it. But so, do you want to your focus now to our first panel that we're going to have today, talking about mass clemency, and we have panelists here. We have Nick Smith. It's Nick, all right. We have Colonel Rob Manus. There you go, Colonel Rob Manus. Mike McMahon. There you go. And the aforementioned Douglas Mackey. There you go. So we're going to get started here with a 5-minute statement from each panelist, and we're going to talk about, a review of cases that Weaponization Watch profiling and what a mass clemency project would look like. So let's do the statements down in this order.
Hi, everybody. Thank you to Cynthia for inviting me to tell my story about how the FBI ruined my career and my life. 2020, October 2020, The FBI surrounded my house, local police. Couldn't believe what was going on. Thought my kids were involved in an accident, thought maybe somebody was hurt, injured. Didn't want to open the door at first, but I finally opened it up and they said, Mike, you're under arrest. And I said, for what? They said, working for China. I said, working for China? I said, all right. I said, my NYPD career, under arrest, followed the law, never been arrested. Couldn't believe it. They said, oh, we'll take you downtown. We'll talk to you more in person, which I did. I couldn't believe when they gave me the complaint and I read it. I couldn't believe what was in the complaint report. It said I stalked somebody. I harassed a New Jersey family. I witnessed meetings or videotape meetings at a mall in Jersey, none of which took place. None of it took place. And I told the officers and the agents, listen, you got the wrong guy. I wasn't there. It's not me. It's not me. They set $500,000. I had to put up my house. I had to put up my brother's house. But I said, to my wife, I said, we got to fight this. We cannot let this happen. We had nothing to do with this Chinese operation, this CCP operation. You got the wrong guy. I said it over and over and over again. The agent would not speak to me, would not meet with me, did not interview me. I never met the case agent from the FBI. And I said, I want to meet with him through my lawyer. He would never want to meet with us. I wouldn't take a plea. I said, we're fighting this the whole way. If it costs us our house, we're going to deal with it. We're going to fight it. We go to trial. All this stuff comes out of trial that we had no idea existed. We weren't privileged to some of the discovery. We weren't allowed to look at some of the discovery. A lot of the discovery was encrypted. Why couldn't I look at my discovery? Why am I finding out at trial that this stuff was in my discovery? Completely shocked, upset, just couldn't believe I was in the situation. We fight it, go to a 6-week trial. I was found guilty. I was sentenced to 18 months in a federal prison. And I was sent to Michigan, a low security prison in Michigan. Through some letters of support, I was later, after 3 months, sentenced to a halfway house in Newark, New Jersey. While I was in Newark, New Jersey, halfway house, I got a call from Congressman Mike Lawler saying I was pardoned by the President of the United States. Thank you. I thought I was going to see the tree lighting in Rockefeller Center. I didn't know it was coming here today. So thanks to my wife, Martha, who's been amazing. Fought for me every single day the last 5 years. So could not have made it through this without you.
She's the best.
She's the best.
She's the best girl.
You're right. Thanks for sharing that. All right, go ahead.
Thank you, Mike. So, so we're here talking about mass clemency, and I think it's important we talk about this because I've seen in the media lately, President Trump is taking a lot of heat from the media, from the DOJ. As you know, they all leak about some pardons, and so I just want to talk about these pardons from the perspective of my case. You can't believe everything that you hear and see, and I know this is a surprise to hear that. But let me just talk about my case. I posted a meme that said that Hillary Clinton supporters could text their vote. During the 2016 cycle, it was obviously a satire. It was a joke. The DOJ didn't treat it as a joke. Hillary Clinton did not treat it as a joke. Surprise. So basically, so you post a meme online. Okay, what kind of charge can they hit you with federally? So they charged me under the Klan Act of 1871, a felony punishable by up to 10 years in federal prison, or death if you were part of a conspiracy that resulted in death. You can get the death penalty. So how did they come up with this? It's a conspiracy to injure, intimidate, threaten, or oppress anyone in the use of their rights. So you think that would be like, masked men beating people up or them for going to polls or speaking out using their First Amendment, whatever else. This was an entirely novel prosecution. They had never prosecuted a case like this where somebody just posted something online. But this was about in white papers before Biden even got into office. So this is the whole NGO complex that we all know about, concocting ways that they could charge people. There was not a single victim, and they didn't have any. So with a conspiracy, they don't need any victims, first of all. All they need is that you had an agreement with somebody else to enact this, whatever crime is the underlying crime. Well, in my case, there's not even an underlying crime, because posting a meme that's joking about the way you vote is not actually a crime. But that doesn't matter. They can say as long as you conspired with somebody else to injure someone in their attempt to vote. They needed a co-conspirator, otherwise you can't charge a crime. So they found somebody that I never talked to who happened to be in some of the DM groups with me that had either reposted or shared the same meme. They went in through DMs and they subpoenaed Twitter, went through all these DMs and pick out little bits and pieces where other people are saying things like, oh, haha, people are, it'll be so funny, people will believe this, having nothing to do with me. So this is how they weaponize these statutes. So they ultimately, I posted this tweet. Nobody really saw it until some people in the media picked this up and started spreading it around, saying, "Oh, look, we found." Ultimately, 4,900 people texted the number. So what was the headline in the New York Times? 4,900 Democrats tricked. I kid you not. And of course, we went to trial. There wasn't a single person that was tricked. They interviewed people. They went around Brooklyn, Long Island, wherever, and people who texted the number, and people were like, I don't even remember texting this, or I didn't think it was real, whatever else. So I was charged with this crime in 2021. President Trump, 2 years later, was charged under the same exact statute. We're talking about novel interpretations of statutes. So obviously, ultimately, we won the case because they said the appellate court looked at all the evidence and they said, there's no way that I agreed with anybody else that this meme was going to trick a bunch of people out of voting. So basically what they had done was they twisted this other guy's arm and got him to testify. And he lied during the testimony. He later on recanted the testimony. So my point in saying of all this is that I think that we need to stand behind President Trump and his pardons. And I know some people look at some of them and say, what's going on? Well, there's a lot of these cases that you don't hear about. I mean, I could talk about my case for hours and hours, and I could forget half of it and remember it later, and I could write a whole book about it. So, there's also, I think, some individuals who may be guilty and may be guilty. Maybe some guilty because they're guilty, might plead guilty because it's a better deal, even though they're not guilty. But they're hit with these extremely unfair sentences because of who they are, because of their politics or their beliefs or what have you. For instance, Roger Stone pled guilty or I think he was convicted, and the DOJ tried to recommend a 9-year prison sentence until I think Bill Barr had to intervene and say, no, you have to redo this recommendation. So that's just one example. Another example, George Santos, who was hit with 7 years, and there's a whole list of these cases. So I think we need to stand behind President Trump, and somebody has to make the case for why this is a necessary thing.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm a defense lawyer. I've worked with Cynthia Hughes and her organization and exasperated her for 5 years, approximately.
No throw punches today.
So pardons and commutations have become a subject lively public debate recently. There's a lot of headlines about recent pardons and commutations that have come down. And much of this is unfair. There's one of the criticisms is that these pardons the White House have been issuing would never come from any other administration. We can get into the details about why that's wrong, but I think the key point here is it's sparking a debate about how pardons should be used, and this debate is a useful one. On the one hand, you have outlets like National Review. Today, they published an editorial saying that this White House's pardons are an argument for eliminating the president's pardon power. They say that Congress should put curbs on the president's pardon power. I think that's exactly the opposite. I think the that are coming out of this White House are defensible on their own terms, but even more broadly, I think given the failures of the criminal justice system over time and Congress's inaction, the pardon power should be expanded. And not just in terms of the number of individuals that receive them, but the concept, the structure of using pardons. Pardons can be used categorically in addition to individually. So there are all kinds of vague federal statutes like the type Doug is talking about, like in the case of Mike McMahon, that are abused by prosecutors, and people in the system know about this. They've known about it for a long time, and nothing is done about it. Legislation is a snail crawl process. What the White House could do is it could start using pardons to basically rewrite some of these laws itself. And how would that work? They could start writing pardons that address certain uses of statutes. And they say to federal prosecutors, well, if you go after people using this vague interpretation, you'll get no because they're already pardoned. Another power the president has is to issue conditional pardons. Most pardons come through unconditionally, but the president can use this power to say, for example, well, I'll pardon you on the condition that you pay a lower penalty than the one the federal prosecutor, the federal judge imposed. Serve a lesser sentence. And so there's this suite of powers that the president has that could totally rework the way criminal justice works. And I think that is very much exploring, particularly in this White House, its boldness.
Thank you, Mike. First of all, I want to thank Cynthia, John, and Patriot Freedom Project and Eagle Forum for sponsoring and establishing a Weaponization Watch and Veterans Leadership Fund that I chair. Is proud to help support that, and thank you for the invitation to bring the military side of this weaponization that's happened to the American people by not only our government, but all of our institutions across the board. The person in this room probably once trusted implicitly. The big highlighted issue right now on the military side is the COVID-19 vaccine order that was issued by President Biden and followed through by then Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, but it turned out to be unlawful. And that's a big subject today because there is still an attempt and continued attempts to weaponize the department, what is now the Department of War, against not only our military members, but the American people itself. I'm sure all of you have heard of the seditious six that are calling for disobeying orders that are lawful in the United States Armed Forces today. That is just another version of what we saw with the COVID-19 vaccine mandate. And the reason why I'm very happy to be here today is that the current president and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth have issued orders to reinstate somewhere between 85,000 and 100,000 young Americans that were either court-martialed or separated from the service involuntarily or forced to leave because of this unlawful vaccine order that occurred. As a matter of fact, they have had some limited success. Captain Mark Bashaw, who was a U.S. Army officer, the one officer that was court-martialed and convicted, in my opinion, was pardoned by the president and has come back to the service and was recently promoted to the rank that he's holding today. So that's good news. The bad news is the bureaucrats that are in the Pentagon and the service departments continue to resist that order and continue this weaponization. How are they doing that? They chose a bureaucratic process called the Board of Correctional Military Records to bring people back in. That's why, even though the initial order was issued in February of this year, less than 100 individuals have been reinstated to active service. And these are individuals that chose to do the right thing and stand up and be counted when it was very, very difficult to do that. That's why they're mostly in closed today, because the institution forced them to leave in one way or the other. But we want to see them all back in because of their talent to make decisions under pressure that are the right decisions. That's what we need in the United States Armed Forces. And why? And the reason that is important is that less than 100. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, when we almost 100,000 people by a lot of estimates that need to be back on active duty so they can be fulfilling the orders of the President of the United States in the national security space, not only here domestically, but overseas too, lawful way, we need. So what do we need to do? An organization I've worked with for many years called Stand Together Against Racism and Radicalism Services, or STARS, has sent a letter to the President's office and to the President himself back in June asking for blanket pardons for all of the individuals harmed by this unlawful order so that they can bypass this bureaucratic system that's used against Secretary Hegseth and President Trump's order and preventing people from coming in, and allow them to all be reinstated en masse. And that's an unusual move, but we have asked for that. We've also sent copies of the letter to the Pardon Office and the Department of Justice to see if make some way there. But we would certainly appreciate everybody's support here to reach out and contact your representatives and help share this show, this event, so that we can continue to get that word out, because most Americans don't realize just how bad the weaponization of the Department of War has been against, not only against our military members, but against U.S. citizens too.
I know a little bit about it. It was a good segue, Colonel Matus. I think the number one question on many people's minds is how can we scale up the process to review these pardon applications? What should be the criteria? Because obviously, when these things are hanging in the balance after 4 years of absolute chaos and anarchy under the Biden regime, there's so much to clean up. So how can we, just going to throw this out to the group, whoever wants to talk first, how can we scale up this process to review it? And there are so many people who, I guess they haven't gotten their day yet to get the thing reviewed. Everyone has a story. We scale this up. How can we make it happen faster? How can we get this done within the 3 years that we have for sure left with this administration and the friends that we have in it and around it and advocating for it? So whoever wants to go.
Well, why don't you just go start with you?
For me, it was a fairly simple process. I think it was only a couple of days. Filled it out, sent it in. Thought it was a complicated case than that, but a few pages, called the right people, and God took over.
I think there's a big role for outside organizations and charities like Weaponization Watch to do some of the vetting work that the Small Pardon Attorney's Office can't handle at this scale. And I know Cynthia's group does incredible work at this. If anything, she might do more vetting than some, the Pardon Attorney's Office might have done. So more resources to groups like Weaponization Watch that are taking a deep dive into cases.
Just to add to that, one of the techniques the Secretary of War's office has done is set up a task force on this reinstatement issue, but it's being led by a colonel that was forced out of the military and is one of the less than 100 that's been able to get back in. However, I also think that the president could establish a commission made up of outside agencies and decision makers that have this type of experience and have been working in this space for a long time to help the Small Pardon Office, because it needs folks that have been through the process, have been advocating in the process, and they've been harmed by the process, importantly, to be involved in that. So I would like to see an outside committee established in order to do that. That covers all the pardon issues across the board, including the ones I was talking about with the armed forces.
And the colonel's idea fits well with another reform issue with respect to pardons, which is that the pardon attorney's office has been known for a long time to be Mr. No for pardons. They're a branch of the Department of Justice, which is to some extent captured by prosecutors. So outside commissions and private organizations would help stop that kind of influence as well.
Absolutely. And also, we have to be providing, well, first of all, I agree there should absolutely be an outside commission that can recommend pardons to both the DOJ and the White House. We have to make inroads. I know sometimes President Trump will go around the system and issue pardons without the input of DOJ, which I think is a good thing. I think that accelerating the process is absolutely necessary. Traditionally, you have to wait 5 years after you serve your sentence to ask for a pardon before they will even consider it. So I think that if that's somebody that committed a crime and was guilty, and they say, well, I've reformed my life to move on, that's great. But obviously, a lot of these cases, we're arguing are cases of weaponization and lawfare. But the president definitely needs outside support as far as political cover fire here, or else he's not going to be able to get anything done. Like you said, National Review is going out there and saying, if the president shouldn't even be allowed to have the pardon power, which is just another case where the establishment really has been chipping away at the power of the president for all these years. I mean, the president, in a lot of ways, can do whatever he wants. He doesn't need the DOJ to recommend a pardon. He doesn't wait 5 years to pardon anybody. And he's been exercising that power. So we're very fortunate. And we should keep in mind that without President Trump, none of this would be happening at all. We wouldn't even be sitting here talking about it. So we're very fortunate. So we have to provide political cover. And it's not just about, I think it's the right thing to do. I mean, it's not just about, politically this is popular or whatever else. It's the right thing to do. So we have to make that case in the media.
Sorry, to dovetail on your point, Doug, and Nick, you too. Biden pardoned murderers in the last 10 minutes of his presidency. Murderers. And that they're calling people who didn't do anything wrong. It's just mind-boggling.
It's the auto pen that's it.
The auto pen.
Yeah. I mean, drug dealers, murderers, real criminals, they were pardoned in the last 5 minutes of the Biden presidency, and yet they're coming after President Trump, people who don't deserve to be in jail.
Biden was effectively using the pardon power to get rid of the death penalty. And although we might not all agree with that policy, it's an interesting use of the pardon power. So Biden and before him, President Obama were conceiving of this power categorically deal with problems in the criminal justice system rather than whack-a-mole with individual defendants. And I might not personally agree with how they went about that or what sorts of crimes they were using to provide relief on, but it's a very interesting approach that I think would behoove this House to look at.
I would just add that it's not just the right thing to do for the individuals involved on this with the pardon request thing. It's the important thing to do for the future. Today, as I speak to you, this unlawful vaccine order that was issued is now being used the same exact process to eliminate service members that are not desiring to take the flu shot and are making religious accommodation and medical accommodation requests. I know of at least 2 officers today, one in the Marine Corps and one in the United States Air Force, that are about to be separated from the service simply because they don't want to take the flu shot. And I was a commander 3 times, ladies and gentlemen. I have never, ever even reprimanded an individual for not desiring to take the flu shot. It's never been an issue, but it's been made into one because of this unlawful vaccine order on the COVID disease that has gone through every layer of the bureaucracy, all the way down into the uniformed unit levels at the lowest level possible, where it's ordered by NCOs and young officers, and they're using it as a hammer to get people out. And those people I mentioned before are the individuals that the United States needs most. They can make good, solid, independent, legal decisions in a stressful environment, and that's exactly what we need in the armed forces.
I'm a physician, and in order to step foot in a hospital, you have to prove you have a flu shot. So if you want your privileges to a hospital as a doctor, a nurse, a tech, you have to have had a flu shot and a COVID shot. To this day, they will not give you privilege. They will yank your privilege and throw you out of the hospital if you don't have it. It's crazy.
It is.
What about a more effective use of preemptive pardons, right? I mean, you've seen it used, historically a lot. It was Nixon pardoned by Ford, right, preemptively against future charges, and then Biden did it recently. You see presidents use preemptive pardons at the end of their term. What about a more active utilization of that while we figure this all out and just kind of cut to the chase, right? And I think that might be a good way to kind of, ward off kind of what we're talking about in terms of this, entire weaponization of the Justice Department and the judicial system. Is someone, work with President Trump to effectively use preemptive pardons. And again, I know they're not highly favored, but we kind of have no choice.
I think it's not just a useful idea, it's an essential idea if you're going to use pardons to reform the justice system. So the idea would be to lay down clear lines for prosecutors in advance with preemptive or conditional pardons or commutations, that you're not going to use these vague statutes in the way that you've done in the past. And if you do, it's pointless because the case is already over. The person is pardoned.
I think that's a great task for a presidential commission on pardons to help the Department of Justice Pardon Office.
There just needs to be an exodus of pardons in this country. Seriously, there needs to be a commission set up where we're looking at, cases like, do you know how many Mike McMahons are in this country that we don't even hear about?
Exactly.
And there needs to be a, like we've been talking about, a commission set up that, people can contact and say, my loved one, has been in prison for X, Y, Z amount of years, or is facing prison. Like, I don't know if I'm allowed to say his name, your guy. How young he is, your guy. And God forbid if things don't go well, he needs advocacy out here, and he needs somebody to really fight. And that's what we're going to do. And that's what we've been doing. So I just want to say one thing. Sorry, Marcus. I went to the doctor with my daughter the other day. Okay, we walked in the office. Now this was a GI doctor, and my daughter went up to the desk, and the mean woman behind the glass said, "It's HMH policy to wear a mask." And so HMH stands for Hackensack Meridian Health. And so my daughter turned around and looked at me, and I said, "Don't you dare put that mask on." And she just looked at me, she's a grown woman, but she's like, "I'm not going to make my mom mad." And so I said to the woman, "We don't do masks, okay? This is 2025. We're not putting that mask on." And I said, "That doctor behind those glass windows there doesn't have a mask on." And what could she say? So they didn't turn us away, and we went on with our appointment. When we got into the room and her doctor came in, I said, "I hope this isn't the last time we see you, because we're not wearing a mask." And he said, "Do you see a mask on me? I'm not wearing the mask either." So it's whoever's behind this mask thing, like, I don't know if we're even talking about that. I just want to say, screw the mask.
Cynthia, I would just add that what we are talking about is a weaponization beyond the government, but it was started by the government, and it's infected every civilian institution in the United States of America. And it's weaponized against you and your daughter, the average citizen. That's why it's so important to have organizations like the one John have started here. And I think we just have to continue to spread the word and get to work, do the work.
And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You got to stand up. You got to have a backbone, and you got to push back.
This may be a topic, but what's the role of the law schools? In other words, we're producing judges who find lawfare something that is palatable. Has there effort to say, what are you teaching law students and future judges here? Is that a futile thing? I hope not.
I think it's an interesting idea that there should be anti-lawfare classes in law school, or just treating the subject of weaponization at all there. But I'm not aware of any effort to teach students that if they become judges, they should avoid lawfare. I think part of it is inherent in human nature. It's about character. Are you the type of character who's willing to abuse the power you have to implement your political ideas and to ride your hobby horse as a judge? Or are you the kind of character that can set that aside and impartially adjudicate the case in front of you? And to some extent, that's about teaching, but I think to a great extent, it's culture and character.
Correct. But
Yeah.
I guess what I'm suggesting is how do we change the culture? In other words, we're dealing with it at the party level after the problem has already happened.
Yeah.
Why is this? There was a time when the lawyers and judges would have found all of this and happened.
I think law schools should be required to teach the case study of the General Counsel and Department of Defense lawyer Terry Aderam, who wrote a memo that made the COVID vaccine mandate sound like it was lawful, knowing that she was giving unlawful direction and guidance to every commander and every civilian in the Department of Defense that resulted in 90+% of our young men and women getting vaccinated by force, and this other almost 100,000 Americans getting pushed out. That should be a case study in how not to twist the law to achieve your political objectives, especially in the United States Armed Forces, which is supposed to be the most apolitical organization we have. We lose that, ladies and gentlemen, and we totally lose this country. That should be a required case study, and every judge should be required to review that from the perspective that we have today and write something about it and issue something about it, because we have got to stop this. That one individual who was let off the hook and promoted to CIA, I think she's gone now out of there, but that's what we're going to try to do with her, and no accountability whatsoever. And then the other issue is, ladies and gentlemen, there has been zero accountability beyond top layer of all the senior lawyers in the military services who were fired by this Secretary of War, but the generals and admirals have had zero accountability, and they are still running the program inside the Department of the War. Do you expect that 100,000 Americans that were forced out an unlawful order are ever going to get brought back quickly and effectively and efficiently when the same generals and admirals are running the show? They are not, and that's a problem. We've got to address that, especially on the legal side.
Let me just say that the legal establishment has become so wealthy and powerful. We know that the state bars are being weaponized against individuals like Jeff Clark. Unfortunately, my idea probably isn't that popular, but I think that these law schools, one way to undermine is just to simply take away their federal funding, which unfortunately probably won't happen anytime soon. But if you think about it, if they're doing this legal establishment that is so skewed to one side, where it's like 95-5 or 99-1, why should Republicans or anybody who has any common sense, why should we be funding them as taxpayers? And the second is, why should these state bars have the power that they have? And they're using it to go, they're already funding the legal license Trump administration officials. And the idea is, we'll just threaten to take away their funding and then try to twist their arm, but that's not going to work. They're just going to, as if Trump leaves office, they're just going to go back to what they were doing. Or as soon as they sign the agreement with President Trump, they're going to be undermining it. So I don't think we should be empowering these people, but I don't know if that's plausible.
Hi, my name is Tanya Pierce, and I work with the Ladies of Hope Ministry. Thank you. I want to just circle back on the appointees at the DOJ, that there's only a few, but the DOJ has regular employees that have been placed there for decades. We have a campaign called Remission Now for 27 women who are serving a life sentence for restitution. They've already served their prison sentences. They've already served their probationary sentences. But yet, because of what Doug was speaking about, conspiracy, people, including myself, I was convicted in the SDNY, the to the EDNY over here, for $35,000 after trial. But yet, I was sentenced to a $2.5 million restitution. Without any documentation, without an FBRA hearing, without any pushback. As of 10 months ago, I wrote to the DOJ because now the fog is clear. And I said, these entities were either out of business or have never made a lost claim. And I've been paying restitution for 11 years and never a disbursement. And the letter I got back was because it goes to the bad debt fund. But the law says that in order for a victim should transfer their debt over or sign over their debt to the Department of Justice. How can anyone in this country, and I'm speaking for the 27 women in the Remission Now campaign, as well as I get tens, hundreds of calls each week about people that weaponized because of money that they don't owe. And when we see that President Trump, who campaigned and gave clemency to a good friend of mine, Judith Negron, and took the debt that she didn't owe. These are the things that we're talking about, real freedom, because you can't be home for a life sentence.
We were talking about this a little bit before the panel, but restitution judgments are notoriously error-ridden and excessive. People who protect their victims in a criminal case can come forward with a profit-making motive. It's an easy way to make a buck. And to link this to what we were talking about before, clemency, the president has a special power that people don't talk about very much called the remission power, where the president can return restitution and forfeiture judgments that courts impose as well. And so another idea is to promote the White House's use of remissions. If we have these excessive restitution and forfeiture awards all over the country, we should be looking for those places and reporting them to the White House so that we can get people their money back. It's been a problem for decades.
You know, it makes me think, listening to you, Tanya, it makes me think that with Weaponization Watch, Doug and John, we should add another, part to it. Mm-hmm. And there should be all these stories, and accountability side to things. Because we have favor with the president. We do. We have favor with the president, and we have great favor with Ed Martin, John and I. And so I'm not saying that matters. I'm saying that, I think they would, they know the credibility, and I think they would pay attention. They know that we work with great lawyers. The president loves Mike Crispy. And, collectively working with a group of people like this, we can expose a lot of things, So you inspired me just now with another thought. We're going to add it to the list. And these stories have to be heard all the time. Thank you.
Yeah, we have time for one more.
Rudy Giuliani's law license was granted in New York. I think somebody in the state Senate, a Democrat, Brad Wellman, who really pushed for that. Can that be reversed?
It could be reversed by the New York Court of Appeals, but I'm not really sure where Mr. Giuliani's appeals right now. The president can't reverse that, unfortunately.
I mean, it was yanked for points of view. He contested the election results.
he'll have to challenge that in the Court of Appeals in New York.
Well, good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
I think so. I think we have minutes. Let's go right there.
So we talked a lot about how to get rid of the people who have weaponized our institutions out of what comes after. Unfortunately, a lot of these people have decades of experience, not just in leadership positions, but also in the rank and file. How do we close the experience gap between, let's say, the old guard and the people who weaponize in our institutions and their replacements, so that we can maintain readiness to fight enemies on the global stage like Russia and China, and enemies domestically like criminals?
Personnel is policy.
Yeah, personnel is policy. Absolutely. I think that I'm always encouraged when I'm reading in the news that individuals fired in the FBI or DOJ. So the Trump administration has tried to say that they can fire lower level employees at will or not on board of the political agenda. I think the court fight. A lot of these career officials have merit protection and this kind of a thing, but hopefully we get some favorable court rulings. But then not only that, you're going to need it's a difficult task, but I think we need to make the case from the outside that a lot of these people should be fired and should be removed. How do we close the experience gap? I'm not sure. We need people that are public minded. You know, even when I'm talking about jury service, when we did jury selection and a lot of people come up and they just try to get out of it as quickly as they can, you know, they say, oh, I always believe the police, or they say, I never believe the police, just so they can get out of jury service. All my cousins are police officers. So yeah, conservatives need to be more service minded, I believe, because a lot of times we're just trying to get out of things. So
I challenge the premise question that it's going to leave an experience gap from a Department of War perspective. That's BS, quite honestly. There are tens of thousands of military officers that had never violated their oath of office to the Constitution of the United States that would be more than happy to help. And the President of the United States, as the Commander-in-Chief, has the power to bring them back on active duty if he needs to. But there are also tens of thousands of military personnel that are waiting to come up, that have been trained, that have experience. On any given day, there's about 4,000 colonels just in the United States Air Force. Many of them are ready to be generals, but they may not have the right ideological view for this past Department of Defense resistors that are in this bureaucracy, both uniform and out in the Department of War. We don't need their kind of experience. They're the ones that brought us here. We don't need the experience that has taken us to endless war policies for the last 3 decades that have ended in disaster for our credibility, and now we're trying to reinstate deterrence as a daily operational effect instead of sending our kids out to die on borders like the Ukraine border, which we don't give a damn about.
I appreciate everybody's participation. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll come right back in how many minutes? What? Stories after the break. Yes. How much time for the break? Oh, just 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Thank you. You had to sit next to me.
No. Your energy is infectious. Cool.
These are pretty cool. I gotta get some of these.
yeah, right.
I gotta get some of these.
Ah,
Are they Bluetooth? Is that what they are?
next one. Yeah, these are Bluetooth.
All right, guys, we're going to be right back. About like a 5-minute break, and then I come up with Martha Byrne.
Is it for us? Thank you.
Right in the center. Here?
Okay. So I'm going to hit this microphone right here.
So that ends up going out.
I was talking about like.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. No, I'm on. But I still got that audio from.
What the fuck?
It's annoying.
Hang on.
Can you shut off the audio from the?
I can't.
Oh, okay.
What the fuck is going on?
I don't know.
Is he doing that?
You're in charge.
No, I put him back. I put it back up on the.
Yeah, I all I can hear is this goddamn fucking background noise from the bullshit.
Is
Oh,
that
now
better?
it's gone. Now it's gone. Yep. Now it's good. Now it's good.
Yeah, because I muted the fucking thing. Is he the one that's moving this shit around?
I don't know. Hey, look, I can tell you, but by the way, why is my flag touching the ground?
I thought the same thing.
Yep, it pisses me off a little bit. I know they're not intentionally doing it, but somebody should pick that thing up off the ground because it don't belong there.
I agree.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
I noticed it the first thing when I came in.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty easy to just raise it up a couple inches. I'm sure they're not intentionally doing that, but
No, of course they're not.
They should pick it up. Reno, how are you, young lady? Nothing.
His mic is
Okay.
muted.
Well, his mouth isn't moving, so I'm assuming that he wasn't talking anyway. Oh, there she goes. Yeah.
Can you guys
All
hear
right.
me now? Can you guys hear me
Yes.
now? Okay,
Yes.
guys. So we got a 5-minute break, and then Enrique will be up speaking.
Is he the one that's moving this fucking thing around?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, all right. I'm like, what the?
Yeah. So we got a 5-minute break, and then Enrique will be up speaking.
So since it took me so long to get in here, what is this?
This is the so this is the New York Young Metropolitan Republic Club or
Oh, the scene of the
punk fucking
crime.
thing.
The scene of the
Some
crime.
Yeah, the original.
The
Yeah.
original
I
scene of
remember.
the crime.
And then that's a panel. They're going to do panels, and then they're going to have speakers.
This is where the infamous New York 9 happened, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Yep.
If you don't know what that is, look it up. Motherfucker's got 5 years in fucking prison for nothing.
It's also
Ended up in Rikers Island.
It's also where
which is
Gypsy Crusader
no joke.
got. It's also
No
where
joke
Gypsy
at all.
Crusader got attacked.
Yep. Antifa waited for the Proud Boys to leave. They caught up with them on the street. They started attacking them, and the Proud Boys, being the Proud Boys, kicked the fucking shit out of them. But here's the rub. Not one of those Antifa people went to court or pressed charges.
Nope.
Motherfuckers had their lives ruined over this. 5 years in prison for defending themselves.
That was the first time that I knew what the Proud Boys was. Like that was the original sin.
That's
like
where Gavin licked that dude in the face.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
I just licked him.
Yeah.
Just fucking licked him right in the face.
It was weird. It was really weird. Really weird. Yeah.
Yep. Andrew Cuomo said the Proud Boys are not welcome in New York City. Barry, you are correct.
I miss New York. I know you're from
Fuck
New York,
New York.
Rob.
Fuck New York.
No, but I love the city. I think
feel like
you
I'm
do
in
too.
New York right now.
No, I don't, dude. I have hated the city a majority of my life.
Oh, come on. It's the greatest city in the world.
Okay.
I mean,
hey, listen, that's that's your perspective. That doesn't make you right.
No, come on. I mean, it really is. It's
Dude, listen.
a wonderful place.
New York is gay.
New York City, 1985. FAO Schwartz, humongous fucking Teddy Ruxpin. That was New York City to me. No, I'm dead serious, dude. I'm dead serious.
I get you.
Anything after that, like I went back there one time in like 92 and I was like, God, I hate this fucking city.
Oh, come on, man.
I'm dead serious.
What's up, gentlemen?
Look at
What's
this.
up,
Look at this
faggot?
dapper gentleman.
Let me see if I can get my AirPods to work on here.
What a dapper gentleman.
What a fucking pickle sniffer.
Fucking.
So was the audio coming in good?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah,
not
it came good.
surprising. You know, I'm very good with the audio.
Somebody else is not very good with the audio, but you are. Even
My audio
3,000
sounds
miles away
fucking
from your
perfect.
house, from your office. It's
My audio sounds perfect. Fuck off. So you're speaking next?
I will be up next.
Nice.
Are you going to be eloquent or are you going to be gay?
I'm gonna be like super fucking.
He's gonna
Gay.
be eloquently
Flamingly gay. Flamingly gay.
Yes,
So
eloquently
it's funny.
gay.
I know it's loud in here. I'm trying to get my AirPods to connect.
We can hear you. We
Yeah,
can hear you loud and clear.
Hear you loud and clear. 4x4, sir. You need to move that. You need to move the laurels down a little bit on your tie, though.
I forgot I had this on. I had it tucked in.
Yeah.
To my
Are those
collar.
the
You got to
same?
stop drooling on your fucking
Are those the
lip.
same? Are those the same microphones we had at the river?
I
think
yeah,
so. Yeah, those are
same
those.
microphones I
Those
had
things
at
work
the
really
river.
well. Yeah, the ones where I told you to
I know why you're laughing.
The ones where I told you to go back to Cuba. Hey, I've got some more memes for you, fag.
You know what? Let me turn off my Bluetooth here. Give me 1 second.
I went on a memeing rant last night, so I have a whole bunch that I haven't posted yet. So you're welcome for that.
Somebody's saying you got ashy lips.
Hey, why are your lips ashy?
You got ashy lips.
Oh, ashy ass lips. Oh, ashy ass.
So you know
lips.
what's funny? Oh shit! You got me on full screen. So you
Yeah,
know what's
so we can
funny
see your
here?
ashy ass lips.
We're at the Republican Metropolitan Club in New York City, where the New York City 9 incident happened.
We
with
were
Gavin.
just talking about this.
Huh?
We were just talking about this.
Oh well, the funny part is, I don't know if the ownership here is the same, but they weren't very happy with Gavin, and I'm about to mention it right as I come up. I'm actually going to start it because this whole thing is about the weaponization watch and all of that, and I think an important part of weaponization is like the beginning of the extreme weaponization against the Proud Boys that started right here at the Metropolitan Republican Club. So they might not like it, but I got to mention it. I think we're going to go live.
What about hey? You can mention Paul too. You can mention Paul Miller too. They'll love that, dude.
Oh yeah, no, they're great. I mean, this
No,
place,
fuck that guy.
Fuck
that guy.
I'm gonna be.
I'm gonna
Serena,
tune that
don't
guy
feel bad
out.
for him. Don't feel bad for him.
The video a little while ago from behind the scenes, and he understands why. My apprehension, why I would have apprehension to bring up Paul Miller at this place, but here we go.
You should bring up Paul Miller. Yeah.
I'll be back.
All right.
I'm gonna jack Paul Miller up.
All right, buddy. All right. Well, there you go.
So I guess I got to
now we
unmute
get
the mic.
We got to listen to. Now we're going to listen to Enrique and his ashy ass fucking lips. And,
I just want to be very clear that I am going to tune Paul Miller up. Like that.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
All 4 seconds of the fight.
Tell him.
Well,
hey
man, I committed to doing it, so I'm doing it,
Good,
and that's
good job.
I got to do what I got to do.
Spot like that. and then we're going.
Your mic is muted. Unmute it.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! We're not gonna get to. I
Oh,
can't. I
shit.
can't do it. I can't do it. I can't unmute it. Maybe? No, that's not working.
Come on.
Fuck my life. Guys, we're the most professional fucking organization here.
Yeah.
I can't unmute it. Unmute your mic. Unmute your mic.
Disaster.
Oh my fucking God.
Unmute your mic.
Reno, what the fuck are you doing right now?
I didn't do shit, bro. I didn't mute it. Fucking
Are you producing this show or not?
yeah, I was.
I don't have the power to
but
do
I
it.
don't have producer fucking powers. So.
I don't have
Which one of you does?
I don't.
Nobody. Only
I hear that,
Only
but
the faggot
Reno
talking
must
does. Only the faggot
I don't
talking
have
at the
any
podium.
production. Look, man, you guys are in charge, not
It's not
me.
my fault. It's not my fault. Hey, thanks for tuning in, guys, to a muted fucking stream that Enrique did. I would like to.
What the fuck?
I would like to point out that.
Yeah, I know we need
Enrique,
sound.
Hey Barry, if you're, I don't know, is Barry there? Barry,
Barry's
if you're
not there with him.
Fuck. So
It's not my fucking fault.
It's not.
Well,
Oh yeah, here we go. I'll
The very
translate
fucking
for
godmother
you guys.
did it.
I'll translate for you guys what he's saying. So what happened was we got here and then I came from Cuba a couple of years ago and then I got into a fight and then I
God
became.
damn this! What
Shut
the
up.
fuck?
Don't interrupt Enrique Torrio while he's talking, sir. And then I got to Miami and we had a good time and all the good things. I made a 1776 shop. You can come get all your stuff.
All right,
And,
hold on a second. Hold on a second. At a certain point, we had audio from that feed, so we have to be able to get it back.
No,
So
Enrique fucking muted it.
Yeah, when he muted it, I can't unmute it. So like if I were to mute Reno like that, I go to click on Reno, he's got to accept the request, which is the dumbest fucking thing.
Call Colonel Manus, Rob. That's a very good fucking idea. Text Colonel Manus.
Jesus.
call the colonel and order a fucking code red or some shit. I don't know. Who gives a fuck?
You want me on that wall, sir?
I need you on that wall. It's ridiculous.
Well, he can be mad at himself all he wants.
I don't have Colonel Manus' number.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
Colonel Anus.
Colonel.
I said Manus, you fucking numbnuts.
Look, I can do the dance.
I'm going to insist that we call him Colonel Anus for the rest of the show. Like,
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The fuck out of here. The guy's got more fucking. He's got way more of a respectable fucking military career than you could ever even imagine. Dude.
It's just a
yes,
joke.
he does. Yes, he does. I don't think. Hey, man, look.
It's a joke,
you can
not a
see my
dick. Don't take it so hard.
Colonel Manus is sitting right there. He's not going to answer his fucking phone.
Colonel Anus is definitely not going to answer the phone for you. But, you know.
Yeah, he would. I doubt it. I doubt he's even going to look at his phone.
It's a joke, not a dick.
Colonel Anus. That is great.
Yes.
Just to let you know.
Hold on.
I mean, everything that's going on right now. What the fuck?
Jesus.
No, we're going till 4, and then my show's at 5, Kim. This is. I can't unmute his mic. He muted the mic.
Yeah. This is the first audio problem that is not Rob's fault. Like, I can.
No, it's probably the second one. It's the second one. I can tell you that for a fact.
yeah, Kim. We might be. Yep, probably, most likely.
Oh, what was Kim running her mouth?
Kim, yeah, Kim, listen, you got to deal with the fucking man that owns a joint.
Well, he's crying like a bitch.
Oh god, he's gonna be so fucking mad.
Oh,
But
look. Am I frozen
it's his
again?
fault. It's his fault. Yep. Thank God.
Yeah.
Can you still hear me?
Yep. Look, I can do a dance though.
We should get Pickles up in here.
Oh, we
He can
need
make
Pickles.
it even worse.
He'd make it. Yeah. Fuck yeah. How can I
Bobby,
make this
come on.
worse? My
We get
question is
Robert
how can I make this worse?
Yeah, add Bobby Pickles. Yeah,
Fuck yeah,
that
dude. I'm calling him right now.
definitely will make it worse. Yeah.
Watch this shit. Watch this
Robert
shit.
F. Cucumbers, as I call him. I'll send him an invite.
He's not going to answer. Today is a holy day obligation.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Day of obligation.
Hello, you reached Robert Piccarillo, Bobby Pickles. With that ends our t-shirt. Please leave me a message after the tone. I'll get back to you as soon as
It's Bobby
humanly possible.
Pickles.
Thank you.
Hey, Robert Vincent Piccarillo, we were calling to get you onto the show, but you didn't answer your phone because you are a scumbag.
He is a scumbag.
And decided that today, your holy day of obligation for the Immaculate Conception of the Blessed Virgin Mary is more important. So I mean, I can agree with that, but yeah. So do what you want. Also, you're a scumbag.
Yeah. One time, me and Bobby went to Latin Mass together. Like he was like, "You got to go to Latin Mass with me,"
And you were so
and I
lost.
spent. Oh my God. I spent like we're kneeling and standing and then kneeling and standing and all this other bullshit. Like it felt like it lasted 2.5 hours.
That's
It
all
was
I go to.
You go to Latin Mass?
That's all I go to. I don't do the new mass. I do Latin mass. That's it.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that about you. I didn't know you were Catholic.
I am.
Well, that's
I go to Latin mass. That's it. And then there's a Byzantine Rite. There's a Byzantine Rite church. There's a Byzantine Rite church that's here that I go to also, and there are no chairs. It's all just a pillow on the floor. So, and you stand. You do a lot of standing, dude. The Byzantine Rite is brutal, dude. It's like Eastern Orthodox. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's good shit.
What about you, Rob?
It's a beautiful chapel.
What about me?
You go to Mass?
No.
It's a beautiful
fucking kidding me?
chapel.
I want nothing to do with the inside of a Catholic church.
But it's a beautiful chapel, dude. It's
Okay.
there are icons all around and the big dome ceiling and stuff. It's just amazing.
When I was a kid, when I was an altar boy, I used to have to serve the Stations of the Cross, and that takes like 2 hours or whatever. Like that sucked. I really hated that. It was not fun.
I actually enjoy
But
the stations.
you like the Stations of the Cross?
Yeah, I like doing the stations.
Really? My God. Well, good for you. Yeah. That's some heavy duty shit.
I enjoy the stations. Yeah, the stations are good.
What do you like about the stations?
Just the experience of it. The
Yeah.
experience of doing it and the closest to Jesus you get by walking that path with him.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Well, okay. I respect that.
But yeah, there's a couple of Orthodox churches here that that are good, that are really, really cool, and they're all in communication. The Byzantine Church is in communication.
Yeah.
And we just, I think, I was watching something. They did something. The Pope did something with the Eastern Orthodox. They're trying to build that bridge and have them come back into communication, which would include like the Greek Orthodox and things like that. That would be really cool. So,
Yeah, because if you really if you pay attention theologically,
yeah.
The
Can somebody
Eastern
grab that
Orthodox
link?
and
Can somebody
Catholic
grab?
really don't have.
What?
Hey, can somebody grab that link and fucking whatever that broadcast is?
I can't grab that link, bro. Epic, can you DM me that link in X? That would be dope. Yeah, if you go
I
up
can
to
take over.
if you go up to if you go up to his computer and accept that unmute invite that I gave him, then that would be great.
And what they did to the families and the
There we go.
1,600
There it is.
other individuals was atrocious. They made an example out of us, and we need to make an example out of them. And I truly believe that with Weaponization Watch, it will be the forefront, the tip of the spear to end the weaponization of the federal government. Thank you very much, guys.
That was so. Hey guys, so glad you guys could show up for the last, I don't know, 45 seconds of Enrique's speech.
I love that question. Yes, that was one of the first things our attorney Thomas had told us we can't do it in D.C. We have currently filed in the Middle District of Florida. Any questions around the room? Oh, Thomas.
I have one question. When you were put in solitary confinement, was it before or after you were convicted of the crime?
Before and after. The entire time. 3 years. I was in a concrete coffin.
And were you violent towards any of the prisoners before they put you into solitary?
Absolutely not. As soon as I got there, that's the first thing they put me in.
So why did they put you in solitary confinement?
I actually want to tell you a story about that really quick. So you guys remember the Lockerbie bomber or the shoe bomber? I was in Alexandria Detention Center. He's a bomber, you know? And we ended up going to court together. And they put us in the van, but they separate us. And I'm like, okay, oh, wow, they're separating me from this terrorist. So we go to court. We come on the way back. They pull him out first. And they walk him in. They take his handcuffs off. And he walks into the facility. And they pull me out. They keep me in handcuffs. And they shut down the entire floor just to walk me to my cell. They weren't protecting me from him. They were protecting him from me. And just so you guys know, I was not even accused of any violence. None of my 5 defendants, same thing. There was no violence in our case. So yeah, they did it because they put the Biden administration put a terrorism label on me, and I was moved to 40 federal county jails and federal holdovers in my time. That is a record, not just a record of 22 years, but that is a record for the Bureau of Prisons.
Well,
anybody else? Cool. We're good.
Thank you. Thank you, Enrique. When people hear your story, the fact that you weren't even there that day is pretty extraordinary, considering what they've done to you. So that's just, one story. Now you're going to hear another one. This is the wife of retired NYPD officer Mike McMahon, who was just up on our panel, and you'll be able to hear the other side of weaponization, and we call that the humanitarian side. Welcome, Martha.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you. And it's an honor to be here today. I can't believe if you told me that in my time I would be standing here talking to all of you about my husband being a for the CCP, I think you're insane. A little background about myself. I was on a soap opera called As Returns for 20 years. I met Mike when I was 23, and we've been together for 34 years. So I met this hero NYPD cop with, yes, I was married to a real life hero, an amazing father, amazing brother, sisters, got an incredible family, and I married into the best family on the planet, which, you know, when things like this happen in your life, you find out that very quickly who your friends are. But when you have a family of 9 siblings, then you find out who your cousins, and that support actually gets you through. And I think, you know, for me, I was very naive because I was with a cop who always did things by the book, and he would come home talking about his cases and how he would literally earn 78 medals while he was on the NYPD in his short career of 13 years, and worked in some of the dangerous parts of the city, as in the street crime unit. I don't know if you heard about the street crime unit, but they were like the most elite guys in the city who changed this entire city and made it safe again. Thank you, Mayor Rudy Giuliani, for doing that, and earned a combat cross for a gang-related shooting, my husband, where he was actually given the award by Rudy Giuliani in One Police Plaza. And then my husband was in a police chase and hit a telephone 50 miles an hour and ended his police career, which, as his wife, I was horrified for him because he loved his job. He loved what he did. He just put everything. He was the guy you wanted to show up when you called 911. He was the one who would run into the burning buildings and take on the shooters and deal with gang members and deal with people and being humane to them. And he was finished, and he became a private investigator part-time. I'd worked my whole life. We were doing well. And I was on a soap opera, very successful. I've won 3 Emmys in my job. We were doing really well. Thank you. And Emmys actually don't do anything except unless you want to talk to Congress. That actually kind of helps to kind of get you at least in the door sometimes. That was actually the best thing about my career, was how I was able to help my husband. I will say, as wonderful as to be an actress and do what I did, being able to help my husband get home was my greatest accomplishment in my life. And I did not do that alone. Cynthia Hughes. Congressman Michael Lawler is on another level. I'm just telling you right now, that man was from the beginning, before he was even elected, was our side and said, if I get elected, I'm going to help you. And every phone call, every email, called me. I mean, when he was trying to work for the pardon, to get my pardon, calling the president, calling the White House counsel, getting me on the phone with the White House counsel, making emails, calling me at 10 o'clock at night saying, I'm working on it. I'm telling you, if I'm going to give one piece of it, you need to find your hero. You need to find your advocate who means it. There's a lot of congressmen who say that they want to help, and they're busy, but they're busy. They have other things going on. Find the one who wants to do the advocating for you. Congressman Lawler, also after my husband's brother passed from 9/11 illness, honored him on the House floor. I mean, this man is different. He's just cut differently. But from a family perspective, what it does now, I knew when he came home after being taken out of our home and without handcuffs, didn't take his guns, didn't take his computers, didn't take anything. They were petting my dog. This was not a normal arrest. This was just for optics, this whole case. I've written a book called In the Interest of Justice if you want to read more about the case and what it's really all about. But today we're talking about weaponization. We're talking about the optics of a case and destroying a family for it, okay? This was no doubt in my mind. I said, you're never taking a plea deal. You did absolutely nothing wrong. We have 3 children. How do you tell your children that, you know what, yeah, just admit you did something wrong, and so we can save $1 million or $3 million, and you can just walk through your life, people pointing at you saying you're a spy, you're this, you're horrible, your father's a spy. No. Thank you. I said to Mike, I said, we'll sell our house. I don't care. I grew up with nothing. I grew up with a great family and support system. We'll figure it out. And our lawyers were amazing and supportive and patient, okay? But when I went to trial and I sat in that courtroom and I heard the prosecutor on day 1 manufacture evidence to the jury and lie to the jury and manipulate the judge, and the judge allowed him to manipulate the jury, I said, we are screwed. And I don't know what is going to happen here, but it's not good. Not one piece of the media was positive. Not one story about my husband's heroism. Nothing in the media about his career. Not one piece of media was about his career. It was all China and spying and this. The people he was following were CCP officials from Wuhan. They were not citizens. They were not dissidents. Nothing in the media about that. Nothing. So I knew we were up against it. And then when he was convicted, I mean, I'm dramatic. They'll never forget me in those hallways. What I was saying, yes. Anyway, wrap it up. I'm TV. This is like TV. Wrap it up. But what I want to tell you about the media. So my story was we could talk a lot. But so just so you understand the media, I'm going to give you one example. The Wall Street Journal in July of 2020 wrote an article about how the CCP is using civil lawfare to go after dissidents in the United States. Okay, there's a story in the Wall Street Journal, and in there is a picture of these two Chinese people, and it has Jinzhu and Fanglu and their pictures in there. In this article, they are being targeted civilly in the United States. Wall Street Journal. My husband was arrested on October 28th, 2020. That same journalist who wrote that story in 2020, she wrote the story about my husband's arrest with a link going to that story in 2020 July. Now, what does that tell you? That tells you that she wanted that to happen, show them that they were victims. They are not victims. And I was tracking that for years and years and years. So I reached out to her, asked her. I was kind of, I do troll. I do a little bit. LinkedIn has been wonderful, by the way. Just I highly recommend it if you really want to get some people to talk to you. So after Mike's conviction, and I had reached out to this writer, and I had my moment with her, and I still have it. And I said to her, finally, I said, starting with your July 29th, 2020 story and your of telling the truth about fox hunt cases, which is the Chinese operations, which my husband was arrested for, your failure to do your job and put all the facts out there put my family in danger. You betrayed this country, and you should be ashamed to call yourself a journalist. I hope whatever relationship you have with the government was worth it. What I'm saying to you is that's the reality of the media with the government. And I promise you, I will continue to address this, and they need to be held accountable, to be subpoenaed. They need to find out who was planting that story to make that person do that. I have my ideas, and they're not just ideas. They're based in actual facts. So we need to keep, like I said, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Wrap it up, I know. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go to commercial. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, John Schlafly. Thank you, Cynthia.
Well, all right. What do you say, Rob?
We're going to move to our next panel right now. So if you're on the next panel, come on up. We'll get the chairs going and get our next panel going.
I'm just making sure that it's okay with the boss. I think so. All right, he told me to go for it. All right, everybody. I don't know what the hell happened to my camera, but it is what it is. If it's not one thing, it's another. I can't. All right, there we go. All right. Thank you guys very much. We are sorry about that. We didn't have any fucking control over that. None whatsoever. So much for having producer status. I couldn't unmute him. We did try. And I hope that there is somebody else that streamed it out there. If you guys want to watch what he said, somebody had put a link in the comments. Please go and find that. And stay tuned for Kimberly Coulter's show up next at 3 o'clock. And then my show, Critical Mass, at 5. And then, Patty, your show's tomorrow?
Tomorrow at 5. Well, yeah, 7. So, whatever. Nobody's going to watch it anyway.
What
But
happened to the feed?
in the case that you do, the dozens of people that are waiting to watch the show, you'll be excited because I think I have a really cool guest tomorrow. Sandy Rios
What happened to the feed?
is going to be on the show.
He said kill
will
it.
Be,
Okay.
Kill what?
I didn't do nothing. I didn't touch anything.
No, tomorrow night, Sandy Rios will be on the show, and we'll be discussing the Gospel of Matthew. Which is something I've wanted to do for quite a while, and so that'll be exciting.
Is it recorded?
Yeah, it'll be recorded. Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
No, I don't do a live show. Yeah,
that's okay. Well, I'll jump on one day. Me, and you and Bobby should do a fucking show, a episode.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But
Anyways, I have to go, guys, because I have a very important dinner that I have to go to tonight. So,
all right, well, have a good dinner.
all right, I'll see you guys. Yeah, thanks.
Nice.
Load up on guns and bring your friends. It's fun to lose and to pretend she's overboard and self-assured. Oh no, I know a dirty word. Hello.
Prosecutor said Ethan Nordine was the undisputed leader of the group that day as they tried to prevent the peaceful transfer of power.
And FBI agents arrested Proud Boys former national chairman Enrique Tarrio at this home in Miami. By 2 this afternoon, he was in federal court.
Here we are now.